Alright, welcome back to more Doki Literature Club Plus. Last time, we got to know a bit more about Natsuki and hang out with her some more. We also learned about the truth about some stuff going on with Sayori. And in addition to that, we also, encountered that Sayori. We learned Sayori had been dealing with a lot of depression and all this stuff, and ultimately she ended up tragically committing suicide. And yeah, we finished Act 1 of the game, as it is often referred to by the community. But yeah, it's a pretty... Act 1 has a pretty fucked up ending. And now, as you can see, Sayori is just a glitched mess of, Monika, Yuri, and Natsuki. So, yeah. But yeah, no, like, a lot of, I think everyone can agree that Act 1 has a very fucked up ending. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to Act 2. So, let's hit this glitched option here. This is where the game really starts. I see an annoying girl running toward her to me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is my neighbor and good friend since we were children. No, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself meeting today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently and would get tired. I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's gonna chase after me like this, I almost feel better off of running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let catch up to me. It's an ordinary school day like any other. Mornings are usually the worst, being surrounded by couples and friends and friend groups walking to school together. Meanwhile, I've always walked to school alone. I always tell myself it's about time to meet some girls or something like that. But I have no motivation to join any clubs. Perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. There's always the anime club, but it's not like there would be any girls in it anyway. School day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. There really aren't any that interest me. Besides, most of them would probably be way too demanding for me to want to deal with. Guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Kazuma? Monika? Oh my goodness, I totally didn't expect to see you here. It's been a while, right? Yeah, it has. Monika smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monika was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically, completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... What did you come in here for, anyway? I've just been looking for some supplies to use for my club. Do you know if there's any construction paper in here? Or markers? Guess you could check the closet. You're in the debate club, right? About that. I actually quit the debate club. Really? You quit? Yeah. To be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and just make something special out of it. In that case, what club did you decide to join? Actually, I'm starting a new one. A literature club. Literature? That sounds kind of... dull? How many members do you have so far? It's kind of embarrassing, but there's only 3 of us so far. It's really hard to find new members for something that sounds so boring. Well, I can see that. But it's really not boring at all, you know? Literature can be anything. Reading, writing, poetry. I mean, one of my members even keeps her manga collection in the club room. Wait, really? Yeah, it's funny, right? She always insists that manga's literature too. I mean, she's not wrong, I guess. Besides, a member's a member, right? Did Monika say she? Hey Kazuma, by any chance, you still looking for a club to join? Ah, I mean I guess so, but in that case, is there any chance you could do me a big favor? I want to ask you to join, but if you could at the very least visit my club, it would make me really happy. Please? Well, I guess I have no reason to refuse. Besides, how could I ever refuse someone like Monika? Sure, I guess I could check it out. Ah, awesome! You're really sweet, Kazuma, you know that? It's nothing, really. Shall we go, then? I'll look for the materials another time. You're more important. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul to Monika and her irresistible smile. I dejectedly follow Monika across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Monika, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. I'm back! And I brought a guest with me. Eh? Let's check the history real quick. Yeah, no, we didn't get that. I'm gonna have to double check back in the recording to see what that blind text was. A guest? Seriously, you brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Don't be mean, Natsuki. But anyway, welcome to the club, Kazuma. All words escape in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. So let me guess. You're Monika's boyfriend, right? What? No, I'm not. Natsuki? The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. Anyway, this is Natsuki, energetic as usual. And this is Yuri, the vice president. It's nice to meet you. Oh man. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with someone like Natsuki. Yes, it's nice to meet both of you. So I ran into Kazuma in the classroom and he decided to come check out the club. Isn't that great? Wait, Monika, did I tell you to let me know in advance before you brought anyone new? I was going to, well, you know, sorry. I didn't forget that, but I just happened to run into him. In that case, I should at least make some tea, right? Yeah, that would be great. Why don't you come sit down, Kazuma? The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. Yuri walks to the corner of the room and opens the closet. Meanwhile, Monika and Natsuki sit across from each other. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Monika. So, I know you didn't really plan on coming here, but I'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, it is my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. Must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. Which makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, Natsuki? Well, I guess. Natsuki reluctantly agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monika must have worked really hard just to find these two. Yuri returns to the table, carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot in the middle. Keep a whole tea set in the classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. So Kazuma, what kind of things do you like to read? Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. Her favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. Telling good stories in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds comfort in the world of the books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Isn't it amazing? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. Desperately grasps something I can relate to at the minimal level. Oh, yeah. I've read a horror story once before. It is pretty amazing how they can just throw you for a goddamn loop. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. I'd expect that from you, Yuri. Suits your personality. Oh, is that so? Really, if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind the last club meeting. Lucky you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud and Give That Back! Fine, fine. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you even care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No! Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet? I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. It's the truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe share some of your work. You can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. We all sit in silence for a moment. Hey, I just got an idea. How about this? Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. The next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. I thought it was a good idea. Well, I think you're right, Monika. We should probably start finding activities for all of us to participate in together. I decided to take on the responsibility of vice president after all. I need to do my best to nurture the club as well as its members. Besides, now that we have a new member, it seems like a good step for us to take. Do you agree as well, Kazuma? Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we've reached the most important topic, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind this entire time. I never said that I would join this club. Monika may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision yet. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. All three girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. Yeah, that's dejected. That can be dejected. Natsuki just looks like she's gonna fucking rip me a new one. But, I'm sorry, I thought, The girls exchange glances before Monika turns back to me. I guess I need to tell you the truth, Kazuma. The thing is, we don't have enough members yet to form an official club. We need 4. And I've been trying really, really hard to find new members. You don't find one and more before the festival? I am defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? I would feel terrible for letting everyone down in this situation. Besides, the club itself seems pretty relaxed. So, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls... Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Oh my goodness, really? Do you really mean that, Kazuma? Yeah. It could be fun, right? It really did scare me for a moment. I mean, if you really just left after all this, I would be super pissed. Kazuma, I'm so happy. We can become an official club now. Thank you so much for this. You're really amazing. I'll do everything I can to give you a great time, okay? Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone, remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monika looks over at me once more. Cosmo, I look forward to see how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri cleans up the tea set. I guess I'll be on my way then. Okay. See you tomorrow then. Can't wait. With that, I depart the club room and make my way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the three girls. Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monika. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Perhaps it'll be Natsuki. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. Because that starts with writing a poem tonight. Yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it, Kazuma? So yeah, Act 2 is very interesting, because this is where, like, the real shit starts, so to speak. This is where the game really begins, and this is where everything gets very fucking weird. You have unlocked a special poem. Would you like to read it? Alright, sure. Which one did I get? Okay, this one. A dream. I was wandering an abandoned warehouse at night. I was lost, looking for an exit. I just wanted to go home. Came upon a huge empty room, ceiling and walls beyond the deep blackness. My steps were quick in order to hurry to the other side, or to a wall, anything. Suddenly, the ground was no longer beneath my feet. I stepped into a hole of indeterminate width. Fell for a good 5 seconds before crashing into warm water. Figuring out which way was up, I surfaced myself. The air was humid, and sounds of my splashing reverberated endlessly. My vision was completely swallowed by the dark. With one hand, I could feel the damp metal wall of the container. My lungs were already getting tired. Want to talk about your lungs getting tired? Goddamn, mine are. Already, and it's not even been too long. But yeah. Sayori is now gone. As you can probably tell, she's not here anymore. Yuri is now the vice president. And with Sayori gone, they didn't have enough members to form a club. So now we're here filling in the final spot. Also, all of Sayori's words will still appear here. It's just that based on what they will be split between Yuri and Natsuki. That's why Sayori has two different types of words. The more happy, fun, and romantic words going to Natsuki, and the more dark, sad, and depressing words going to Yuri. Making things quite a bit easier to get which of these two that you want. In fact, if I'm smart, in fact, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to simply just get full 20 Natsuki here. Just because... Well, Joy... Well, I say that, and then Joy ends up being fucking Yuri. Family, though, is Natsuki. Fluffy, silly, puppy. There we go. Hi again, Kazuma. That's you didn't turn away on us. Didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. Oh yeah, it's this part. If you notice, it's slow, but the background is zooming in. Ah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I'd at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. Also, the music's off tune. It's off key. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Kazuma. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you, making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged here by Monika. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Monica, you're in the way of the text box. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club, bro. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Kazuma. Make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Natsuki shoots... Wait, Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Actually, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have an interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't say no either way. Like I said, I'm in this club now. It only feels right for me to do something like that if you ask. Oh wait, I didn't mean it like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you want me to. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into a bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out. So I picked up a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. So how is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. Yeah. Sure, we will. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. It's still zooming. It's still zooming. And it's back to normal. Forward to hearing what you think, yeah. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki's rummaging around in the closet. I hear Natsuki utter an exasperated sigh from within the closet. She seems to be annoyed by something. Approach her in case she needs a hand. Looking for something in there? Fucking Monica! Never puts my stuff back in the right spot. What's the point in keeping your collection organized if everyone else is just gonna mess it up? Natsuki slides a bunch of stacked books and boxes across the shelf. Manga. You read manga, right? Sometimes. Manga's one of those things where you can't admit you're really into it until you figure out where the other person stands. How'd you know, anyway? Heard you bring it up at some point. Besides, it's kind of written on your face. What's that supposed to mean? I see. There's a lone volume of manga amidst a stack of various books on the side of one of the shelves. Curious, I pull it out of the stack. There it is! Natsuki snatches out of my hand. Then turns to a box of manga and slips the volume right into the middle of the rest. Ah, much better. Seeing a box set with one book missing is probably the most irritating sight in the world. I know that feel. I get a closer look at the box that she's admiring. Parfait Girls? It's a series I've never heard of in my life. That probably means it's either way out of my demographic or it's simply terrible. If you're gonna judge, you're gonna go do it through the glass on that door. She points to the classroom door. Hey, I wasn't judging or anything. I didn't even say anything. It was the tone of your voice. I'll tell you one thing, Kazuma. Consider this a lesson straight from the Literature Club. Don't judge a book. In fact, Natsuki pulls out the first volume of Parfait Girls from the box. I'm gonna show you exactly why. She shoves the book right into my hands. I stare at the cover. It features 4 girls in colorful attire striking animated feminine poses. It's exceedingly moe. Don't just stand there. Natsuki grabs my arm and pulls me out of the closet. She then takes a seat against the wall beneath the windowsills. She pats on the ground next to her, signaling me to sit there. Jesus, my speeching is not dying. What the hell did I say? My speeching is not dying right. God, I had a fucking stroke or something there. Wouldn't chairs be more comfortable? I take my seat. Chairs wouldn't work. Can't read at the same time like that. Why's that? I guess it is easier to be close together like this. Don't say that! You'll make me feel weird about it! Natsuki crosses her arms and scooches an inch away from me. Sorry. I didn't exactly expect to be sitting this close to her either. Not that I can say it's a particularly bad thing. Open the book. It's only a few seconds before Natsuki once again inches closer, reclaiming the additional space, while she hopes I won't notice. I feel her peering over my shoulder, much more eager to begin reading than I am. Wow, how long has it been since I read the beginning? You don't go back and flip through the older volumes every now and then? Not really. Maybe sometimes after I've already finished the series. Hey, you paying attention? I am, but nothing's really happened yet, so I can talk at the same time. Looks like it's about a bunch of friends in high school. Typical slice of life affair. Kinda grousy since it's rare for the writing to be entertaining enough to make up for the lack of plot. Are you sure this isn't boring for you? It's not! Even though you're just watching me read? Well, I'm fine with that. If you say so. Because it's fun sharing something with something you like with someone else. I always get excited when I convince any of my friends to pick up a series I enjoy. Know what I mean? You don't? That's not... Well, I wouldn't really know. What do you mean? Don't you share your manga with your friends? Could you not rub it in? Jeez. Sorry. I could never get my friends to read this. I just think manga's for kids. Can't bring it up without them being all like, you still haven't grown out of that yet? Makes me want to punch them in the face. I know those kinds of people. Honestly, it takes a lot of effort to find friends who don't judge, much less friends who are also into it. I'm already kind of a loser, so I guess I gravitate towards the other losers over time. But it's probably harder for someone like you. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Wait, which part? I mean, I feel like I can't even keep it in my own room. My dad would beat the shit out of me if he found this. At least it's safe here in the club room. Except Monika's kind of a jerk about it. I just can't win, can I? Well, it paid off in the end, didn't it? I mean, here I am, reading it. Well, it's not like that solves any of my problems. Maybe. But at least you're enjoying yourself, right? So? Jeez, that's enough. You're gonna keep reading or what? Yeah. I flipped the page. Going through and reading. Time passes. Natsuki's strangely quiet now. I glance over at her. She looks like she's starting to fall asleep. Hey, Natsuki. Yeah? Suddenly, Natsuki collapses straight into me. Hey! Oh, jeez. We can actually go in here and see what it is that she said. Being garbled nonsense. Note, though, that the text is black. Very neat attention to detail, might I say. Oh, another thing I like is if you go back here, note the entire part here. There's an entire section missing, being the section where she talks about how she, with the whole can't exactly show it to her friends, can't keep it in her room, and how her dad would beat the shit out of her. I mean, as something that was hinted at in Act 1, she does have some issues with her dad. And there, we got to learn a bit more of it. Her dad's a piece of shit. Natsuki, are you okay? Here. Monika reaches into her bag and pulls out some kind of protein bar. She throws it in Natsuki's direction. Natsuki's eyes suddenly light up again. She snatches the bar from the floor and immediately tears off the wrapper. Told you not to grrr. Doesn't even finish her sentence before stuffing it into her mouth. Don't worry, Kazuma. She's fine. Just happens every now and then. That's why I always keep a snack in my bag for her. Anyway, why don't we all share poems now? Whose should I show my poem to first? Well, remember the rule, Monika first. I should start with Monika. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in effort. Hi, Kazuma. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, do you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities, things we can do better? I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Kazuma. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. I like it, Kazuma. Really? It's a lot cuter than I expected. Oh, jeez. No, it kind of makes me think of something Natsuki would write. She's a good writer, too. So, take that as a compliment. If you say so. Yep. If you're interested in Natsuki, then always keep a snack on you. She'll cling to you like a puppy. Natsuki's dad doesn't give her lunch money or leave any food in the house, so she's in a fussy mood pretty often. Sometimes she just loses all of her strength and shuts down, like earlier. It's just a guess, but I think she's so small because her malnutrition is interfering with her adolescent growth. But hey, some guys are into petite girls too, you know? Sorry, just trying to look at the bright side. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. Sound pretty confident to someone who claims to not be very good. Oh, that's because I have to sound confident. But doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Okay. Hole in wall. But she wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glanced at my surroundings. My burned eyes could no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? Sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears? The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air breeze dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. So I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When formed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you'd say I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you write a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. And we're gonna keep going in the usual order. Natsuki next. Okay, well let's start with things I don't like. First of all, Natsuki rereads my poem. Never mind, I don't feel like giving you my opinion. And what's the point of sharing in the first place? Wrote this when I could have been doing other things. In fact, I remember how I said I wanted to read your poems? That's what I had in mind when writing this. I want to help you feel comfortable enough to share yours. Like Monika said. Well, I would be more comfortable sharing my poem if yours was really bad. You're supposed to show me how some dumb poem and make me go, ha, well it's not that great, but let me show you what real literature looks like. And you went and ruined it. I hope you're happy. So in other words, you're saying you liked it? Natsuki's retort is caught in her throat. You don't understand anything, do you? I already told you that. You don't have to go announcing it to the world like you're all self-important. Pretty sure you never actually said that. I say that mostly to myself. Natsuki must really hate me or something. Can't figure out if it's a win or a loss that she liked my poem. In any case, you still need to show me yours, right? Yeah, fine, I guess. Only because Monika will make me if I don't. And it's the exact same poem. Yeah. I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard, like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write about it. I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. To help bring out that feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did ya? Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Finally, Yuri. Yuri stares at the poem. Minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Oh, sorry, I forgot to start speaking. It's fine, don't force yourself. I'm not. I'm just gonna put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay, this is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah. Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. Guess that it might be after reading through it. Ah, so it's that bad. No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. I can't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. Might take Yuri a while to get used to new people. It's fine, I really didn't notice. What were you saying? Right, it's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. Having been through that myself, I kinda learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds a train of thought, as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering's completely gone, she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. So many different skills and techniques can go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. Might take some time, but it all comes to practice, learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. Oh, fuck. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry, it's fine. Not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Same poem as well. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But you took a long time to read it. Ah, well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Eh? That's a relief. I also liked the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Hoo-hoo. Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Kazuma. Really? Must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts and feelings and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a little more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing really. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things too. Yeah, maybe you're right. Guess I'll have to keep trying. I'm counting on you. Whew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. Oh, it was a little more stressful than I anticipated. As if everyone was judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Natsuki and Yuri. The two exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrow furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's really about the feeling of giving up. Why can that be cute? I know that. I just meant language, I guess. Trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Monika liked it, and Kazuma did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. Ugh. And Kazuma liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? That's not what you're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous Kazuma appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No, if I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Well, you know what? I was the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Kazuma started showing up. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you! Taking out your own insecurities on others like that. You really act as young as you look, Natsuki. Me? Look who's talking, you wannabe edgy bitch. Edgy? Sorry that my lifestyle is too much for someone of your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. Most people learn to get over themselves before they graduate middle school, you know. If you want to prove anything, then stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. It's like you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute. The only cute thing about you is how hard you try. Whoa, be careful, you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck's wrong with your head? Yeah, go on, let Kazuma hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. Suddenly Yuri turns towards me as if she just noticed I was standing there. Kazuma, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. I could try into this, but no, she was, I'm going with Natsuki. Hi, Monika. Hey, Kazuma? Why don't we step outside for a little bit, okay? Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Some president I am, right? Can't even confront my own club members properly. Just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, this makes you want to spend less time with the others, and that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Suddenly, Natsuki runs out of the classroom. She quickly runs away. Oh dear. Well, it looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Yuri is rocking back and forth on her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri? I didn't mean it. I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did. Kazuma, please don't hate me, please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. I know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow, completely. Anyway, the meeting's over, so you can go home now if you want. Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something. She keeps glancing at Monika. You can go first, Monika. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. It's not that. I don't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Kazuma. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. I really appreciate you understand. I need to take a moment to breathe there. I didn't want to interrupt any of that because that is like... Oh, I love that whole sequence there, the argument. It's like... It really shows just how different things go. Well, how different things are without Sayori. Time for our next poem. Kisu. Lazy. Parfait. Nibble. Pink. Kitty. Sing. Boop. Friends. Bunny. Hop. Rainbow. Lipstick. Play. Poof. Socks. Marshmallow. Lollipop. Skirt. Cute. Full 20 Natsuki. Hell yeah. Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me. Welcome back, Kazuma. Ah, hi, Yuri. Not sure if it's me or if it's Yuri's expression. The weight of yesterday's quarrel still hangs in the air a little. Yuri glances over her shoulder, looking around the room. Natsuki's reading manga at her desk. And, surprisingly, Monika isn't here yet. Suddenly, Yuri takes my arm and pulls me to the corner of the room. About yesterday, I really need to apologize. Nothing like that has ever happened before. It just came over me, I guess. I wasn't acting mentally sound. Please don't think we're usually like this. Not just me, but Natsuki as well. Yuri, I'm happy that you were considerate and apologized. You don't have to worry too much. Even though I've only been here a couple days, I could tell something was off yesterday. We were just a little extra sensitive because it was our first time sharing poems. Whatever it was, it didn't make me think any less of you. I'd already decided that there's no way you can be a bad person. And as you're apologizing, I know you didn't mean it. Kazuma, don't say those kinds of things so frankly. That makes me a little too happy. I'm really glad you're such an understanding person. And I'm really glad that you joined this club. Everything's a little bit brighter with you around and... sorry, what am I saying right now? Hey, have you guys seen Monika? No, I haven't. I was also kind of wondering where she was. Man, Yuri, I'm guessing you haven't either. Yuri is clearly taken aback by how calmly Natsuki is addressing her. No, I haven't. Jeez, this isn't like her at all. Oh, it's stupid, but I can't help but worry a little bit. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Natsuki, about yesterday. Just wanted to apologize. Probably didn't mean any of the things I said. And I'll do my best to stay under control from now on. So, Yuri, what the heck are you talking about? Did you do something yesterday? Jeez. Whatever's on your mind, I'm sure it was nothing. I don't even remember anything bad happening. You're the kind of person who worries too much about the little things, aren't you? But... Oh, hey! This actually happened, okay! Mibble's sailcloth blindside, lifeline, and receptibility faultlessly offered. Scleromalacia nade casalicate. I'll accept your apology anyway if it helps you feel better about it. Besides, it's kind of neat to hear since I was afraid you secretly hated me or something like that. No, not at all. I don't hate you. Well, you're kind of weird, but I don't hate you either. Natsuki turns to me. Still on trial, though. Hey! Suddenly, the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry. Ah, there you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Nah. Well, Natsuki was. I was not. What took you so long, anyway? My last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kinda just lost track of time. Makes no sense though. You would have heard the bell ring at least. Must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? I don't know where you played music as well, Monica. Don't give me more credit than I deserve. I guess I've been practicing for a while, but I'm still not really good at it yet. Still, oh god. That must require a lot of dedication. So I'm still impressed. Oh, well thanks, Yuri. You should play for us something for us sometime. That's... Monica looks at me. Well, I'm working on writing a song, but it's not quite done yet. Maybe once I get a little better, I will. That sounds cool. I look forward to it. Is that so? In that case, I won't let you down, Kazuma. Monica smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry. I was hoping that I could share it with you anyway. I guess that's why I've been practicing so much recently. I see. Not sure if Monica was referring to the whole club or just me. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I? Not really. Just not to bring up anything that the three of us talked about. Besides, Natsuki's already run off into the closet. Kazuma, since your compliments put me in a good mood, I was wondering if you'd like to spend some time together today. I mean, in the club. I suppose so. I don't think I could say no to you after you gave that book to me. Well, I guess I need to make sure Natsuki isn't waiting for me. After we finished reading yesterday, she's fine. She's reading over there, see? Don't think about her so much. She's used to being ignored. Come on, we're going over there. Oh, hey, that happened! Wow! I'd like to explain something about Act 2 real quick. Random events, there are some things that can happen randomly throughout it. The first thing, we got our first random thing, yeah, the first random event was, that weird fucking garbled, I don't want to open history in case I lose this, is that weird, like, photorealistic mouth over on Natsuki with that weird, like, fucking message. The second thing that happened, look at this poster back here. That's Sayori hanging herself. So yeah, the photorealistic mouse with the weird-ass garbled message thing, on Natsuki is something that has a random chance of happening during that scene. And then, during any scene in Act 2 in which you have a shot here of, like, the room, with the exception of, the scene where, the background is slowly zooming in, because that always happens there, there is a random chance that instead of it being the normal classroom, it'll be the classroom, but with this poster of Sayori hanging in the back. Just neat little thing to note. But yeah, note, we got 20 Natsuki, yet Yuri he'll drag us away from Natsuki. What's the story about anyway? Well, also, the music faded out and just randomly cut back in. I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. People trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines and a lust for blood. This facility gets even worse and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean. Not the thing about the limbs. It's kind of dark, isn't it? Judy made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Kazuma? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. I totally forgot that Yuri's into those things. So shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. Then suddenly, I'm babbling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, my whole body gets incredibly I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. Please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Well, that's true. In fact, might as well get started reading, right? Oh, we got another random event! That glitch there! I have gone through, like, the original game so many times, and Yuri glitching red there for a moment only occasionally happens. Yes, I mean, you don't have to, but what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieve the book that I put in my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? Slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? Seemed a little bit apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. The music is gone, by the way. Alright, open the book and start the prologue. I still don't understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulders as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. Looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just bathing the feeling of your body. Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... yeah, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right arm to hold the book open. I guess it makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here! Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're held even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Eh? Turn the page. Sorry, I think I got distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face. I apologize about that, I got distracted. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. Continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, just assumes she finished the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. Man, my voice is gonna suck for D&D tonight. The day I'm recording this is Friday, October 15th, 2021. It's going up Saturday, October 16th. And yeah, oh god, I had D&D last night, I'm having D&D tonight, and there's a chance of having D&D tomorrow as well, which I'm all for. Anyway, instead I just assumed I all read that. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her thumb. Hey Yuri? This might be a silly thought, but main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. Eh? No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I just think the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry, I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Eh? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. The breathing is a little... My breathing? Yuri puts her hand on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about? Kazuma? Did something happen just now? Eh? I have no idea. You're just acting a little strange, I guess. So you don't know anything. Sorry, can't say that I do. Are you worried about her? Oh, no, not really. Just make sure that you didn't do anything to her. No, nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other? Eh? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. Make a mental note of where I left off in the book, and then slip it back into my bag. Who should I show my poem to first? Always remember, Monika first. Hi again, Kazuma. How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that, as long as it's not gonna be bad. I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Yeah, sure, here you go. I gave my poem to Monika. Alright, great job, Kazuma. I was going woo in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I wasn't. I was going for Natsuki. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? No, I did. Natsuki is the saying. Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing though, but sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little strongly, like earlier. I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly the door opens. Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Already? Sorry for being late. I need to apologize. Still plenty of them, so I'm more glad that you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monika. I suppose I should get to my poem now. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Oh, this one. This is probably my favorite poem in the game. Save me. The colors, they won't. Bright, beautiful colors, flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, blue, and endless cacophony of meaningless noise. The noise, it won't stop. Violent grating of forms. King, screeching, piercing, sine, cosine, tangent, like playing a board on a turntable, like playing a knife on a breathing rib cage. Delete her. Sorry, I know it's kind of abstract. I'm just trying to, well, never mind. There's no point in explaining. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know when, who am I talking to? Can you hear me? Tell me you can hear me. Anything. Please help me. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. I'm actually gonna save Natsuki for last for this one. I've been waiting for this. Let's see what you've written today. Yuri smiles and takes a deep breath. I like just holding it. I mean, the poem turned out good. It's, well, there are some things you could work on, but that doesn't really matter. Feels like anything written by you is a treasure. That came out a little awkward. Let's move on. Here's the poem I wrote. You don't have to like it or anything. Wheel. No noise. A rotating wheel turning an axle, grinding a bolt head, linear gearbox, falling sky, 7 holy stakes, a docked ship, A portal to another world, a thin rope tied to a thick rope. Oh, a torn harness, parabolic gearbox, expanding universe, time controlled by slipping cogwheels, existence of God, swimming with open water in all directions, drowning, prayer written in blood, a prayer written in time-devouring snakes with human eyes, a thread connecting all living human eyes, a kaleidoscope of holy stakes, exponential gearbox, sky of exploding stars, God disproving the existence of God, a wheel rotating in 6 dimensions, 40 gears on a ticking clock. Clock that ticks 1 second for every rotation of the planet. Clock that ticks 40 times every time it ticks every second time. A bolt head of holy stakes tied to the existence of a docked ship to another world. Kaleidoscope of blood written in clocks. A time-devouring prayer connecting a sky of 40 years and open human eyes in all directions. Breathing gearbox, breathing bolt head, breathing ship, breathing breathing snakes, breathing God, breathing blood, breathing holy stakes, breathing human eyes, breathing time, breathing prayer, breathing sky, breathing wheel. Doesn't really matter what it's about. My mind's been a little hyperactive lately, so I had to take it out on your pen. That is, a pen fell out of your backpack yesterday, so I took it home for safekeeping, and I just really like the way that it writes, so I wrote this poem with it. Now you're touching it. I'm okay. Why don't I just... Can we pretend this conversation never happened? You can keep the poem, though. Natsuki! Well, it's not terrible, but it's pretty disappointing after your last one. Then again, if this one was as good as your last one, I'd be completely pissed. Oh, I guess I want to try something a little different this time. Fair enough, you're still new to this, so I wouldn't expect you to find your style right away. I mean, everyone in the club writes really differently from each other. Maybe you'll find a little influence from all of us. For instance, I noticed that you were spending some time with Yuri today. Not that I care who you spend time with. After all, I was taught to never expect anything from anybody. That's not like I was waiting for you or anything. Still, you should at least look over my poem. You'll probably be able to learn something from it. For this next sequence, I'd like to say one thing. This poem here, and what's about to happen, you only get this poem and what's about to happen if, in Act 2, your first 2 poems are both for Natsuki. If the second one is for Yuri, you do not... If the first one's not for Natsuki and the second one's for Yuri, or they're both for Yuri, you do not actually get the sequence. Garbled nonsense. Kazuma. Why didn't you come read with me today? I was waiting for you. I was waiting for a long time. It was the only thing I had to look forward to today. Why did you ruin it? Do you like Yuri more? I think you're better off not associating with her. Are you listening to me? Yuri is a sick freak. That should be obvious by now. So just play with me instead. Okay. You don't hate me, Kazuma, do you? Do you hate me? Do you want me to make me go home crying? Club is the only place I feel safe. Don't ruin that for me. Don't ruin it. Please. Just stop talking to Yuri. Play with me instead. That's all I have. Play with me. Play with me. That sequence there is enjoyable. I've unlocked a special poem. Let's read it. Stare at the dot to reveal a special message. I like this one. I love you. I love you too, game. Well, looking at the time. Oh yeah, all of our previous saves are gone. We'll pick back up from there next time. Let's head to the desktop. Oh, would you look at that? We got a new picture. An unusual poem by Yuri. A continuation of Monika's first poem appearing only in Act 2. We got Allow me to do the whole Monica's whole first poem. Hole in wall, it couldn't have been me. See the direction, and the spackle protrudes. Noisy neighbor and angry boyfriend. I'll never know I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he on the other side was looking in. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. She's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. It's cool that we can look at the poems again and see, like, the full poems now. That full poem, it's great. 1 of 11 special poems. CDLC selects 3 random special poems to appear when it is started for the first time. Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to see them all eventually. We got a new sketch. A simple character shade of Natsuki's initial design. Experience the play with me scene. Yeah. Natsuki's initial design makes her look a lot more like Madoka Kaname from Madoka Magica. With the pigtails before her final design being that. It's fairly nice. Still no new mail. No new songs. I love this playing. Because why not? And pictures. I'll set Natsuki's beta design because it is what we got for the play with me scene. Alright then. Next time on DDLC, we're going to progress further with Act 2 and we'll get to see a bit more of what the fuck is happening, and hopefully we'll see more of the, like, random secrets that can happen. Because there's a lot of them. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you really want to for whatever reason. And see those of you that I'll see next time, I suppose. Farewell.